you guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today's video is going to be my at-home gel manicure routine tutorial, if you will. So I've been doing a gel manicure on my nails since I want to say this summer. So this past 6 months I've been doing exclusively gel, maybe 1 or 2 regular nail polishes, but mostly just gel. But I have been painting my nails at home and doing my own nails at home since forever. I would get my nails done in high school occasionally, but I never was somebody who ever got my nails professionally done. So I have a lot of practice with nails. Now, gel nails, before we jump into the tutorial, is nothing to start out with. Like, not the move to start. If you have not mastered at home painting your nails, do not jump into gel. Take a year or so and hone in on your regular nail tutorial or regular nail routine. I will throw my recent tutorial, which is pretty old, up in the cards. It's still very relevant. It's still what I do. And you'll see a lot of products in between or interchangeably between my gel and my regular, but you cannot jump into gel if you cannot paint your nails without getting nail polish on yourself, or just, you have to have a very precise application to do gel, or you will significantly injure yourself in terms of like getting contact dermatitis or gel allergy or anything like that. It has more to do with the application than it does to do with the gel and the products that you're using. So I definitely urge you to not do gel nails unless you have mastered just a regular nail polish manicure to start with, okay? But that is kind of just a forewarning, but I just wanted to intro this video, and I had gotten some comments and questions about my routine because, as you know, I do my own nails. So I thought I would film it. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Let's get started. I have removed all of my previous gel. So if you want to see how I do that, I will link that at the end. I do 2 different ways, but I will link one the way that I just did at the end of the video. But we're gonna get into prep, shaping, prep, all that stuff, prep is honestly the most important part. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So first, I'm actually gonna shape my nails. Just so you do know, I do have some builder, like a very thin layer of builder still on my nails. I just removed the color and the majority of the base coat and builder, but I do have a thin little layer, but that doesn't change the way you're going to prep your nails. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and cut them to the size that I like. So I'm just gonna trim them up. I like mine very short, so they are clipped to the length that I like them. Now I'm gonna go ahead and file them. Now that I have the shape that I like, just a basic round tip, we're going to go ahead and get into pushing back the cuticles and prepping the actual nail bed for the gel polish. So my favorite product to do that with is the Sally Hansen. So I go ahead and just put a little dollop on each one of my nail beds right by my cuticle and rub it in. Let it sit for a couple of seconds. Really get it in. This is very important to push back your cuticles and get all of the stuff off. There's a couple different ways and tools that you can use. There's this one, which I find to be kind of harsh on my natural nail. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like it like eats up my nail. So I just like a very basic like pusher tool and not one of those necessarily scooped ones, but either one is fine. And you're just going to take and push back the cuticle. Now, you don't want to push too hard. You don't want to hurt or irritate your cuticles. You just want to get any loose skin that's on the nail off, and then you want to just make sure that you're creating a long nail bed so that way as the polish grows out, it doesn't look like, I don't know how to explain it. You definitely don't want any cuticle on your nail, and then as it grows out, it's just going to look more clean. So make sure you're focusing on the sides as well as up into the nail bed. So I do the majority of the prep on both nails at a time, but you'll see where I stop and wait to do it. I might do one hand at a time at all times when I'm doing gel. I just feel like it helps it stay the most prepped and give you the most like clean base. Okay, so do the same thing with the next hand. Rolling away. So again, push back. I feel like this tool specifically just focuses on just pushing back the skin on the nail, whereas I feel like the other one is a little sharper and pushes back or like takes off layers of the nail, if that makes sense. I don't really enjoy that. I feel like it hurts the health of my nails, so I don't want to do that. And I am somebody who prefers to do cuticle work manually instead of with an e-file, but if you prefer an e-file, you can do it then as well. So now that that is cleaned up, I'm gonna go ahead and wash the product off of my nails. Washed and dried. And now it's time to go and remove any cuticle that is like lingering around the site. I don't actually like cut my skin if I've pushed it back. I just cut anything like that's hanging, like dead skin, like around there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean those up, because if they're on the nail, then your gel will not be able to adhere properly to the nail. Part is important. So just go through. If you do your nails regularly, honestly, there shouldn't be a ton to clip every time, but just want to ensure that you're getting off all of that dead skin, but you should not be clipping your live skin with this, like your alive skin, just dead ones that you push back. So that's it. I don't do a ton. So you can see all nice and cleaned up. And sometimes I will use this to just push back any little bit that I still see lingering on my nails, but not with the Sally Hansen on it. So I don't know why, I just prefer it that way. So let's go ahead and go into the next nail. So nails are cleaned up, and I'm gonna go ahead and rough up the cuticle or the nail itself. This is going to ensure that the polish will stick, have something a little bit gritty to stick. I do this with regular nail polish as well. With gel, it is critical though. So the biggest thing for me is I'm focusing up towards my nail bed because I'm doing a fill, because I have kind of rough stuff here, but I will be roughing up the builder gel that I already have on my nail a little bit. So you're just gonna kind of, you don't have to do anything crazy, but you just wanna kind of buff in the nail. And this is also a good time to smooth it out. But take your time on this step. You really want to ensure that you get all over the nail. I don't mean like you have to like do it hard. Just make sure that you get every square inch of your natural nail. Again, you can use a natural, or you can use manual like I am, or you can use one of your file heads. I just prefer this. I think it's a little more gentle than those bands personally. I find I get a lot of heat friction and I don't really like that. It scares me a little. But I mostly just use my e-file to remove my polish. Now I only do one at a time. So I'm gonna rough up and just leave it with just one hand at a time, and then we'll rough up and do the next hand after. So after that is done, I want to remove any dust that is lingering from the buffer. This is important. You cannot work with dust all over your hands, so do that. Now is the time to dehydrate the nail. So I'm gonna, first go in with some alcohol. So there's two ways I like to apply alcohol, one with the buffing brush or one with just a little paddle brush like this. And I've been really enjoying the paddle brush. And the reason I do this one at a time is because once you've done this, you're kind of ready for gel and you kind of wanna move fast so you don't get any oils on your nails. So that's why I'll save this nail for after this one is done. I like this because I feel like I can get into all the crevices of the nail. So I just kind of wiggle that into the baseline and just brush it down. All you want to do, this is just going to make sure that there's no oils on the nails or anything like that. This is so important. When I was not doing this, I was getting so much liftage. So you want to go ahead and do that. Let that dry. Technically that is the dehydrator step, but I do always use this. This is the nail prep dehydrator. I think it's literally just alcohol in a paintbrush, but we're just gonna do it because I always do it. And if I don't, I feel like I will jinx myself. So we're gonna do that. So I paint that on every one of my nails. You want to make sure you are not getting these products on your actual skin. That will cause some serious problems. And if you see me shaking, don't worry. I just always do that. It's just, I'm a little shaky person. I always have been. Dehydrator done. Now let's go ahead and move on to the nail primer itself. So, and making sure that you are not getting this on your skin. but getting it as close to the cuticle as possible. You want to work in thin layers. All right, so the nail primer is on. Like I said, I don't ever set this. It doesn't say to set it, so I don't. So once this is on and a little bit dried, it will still look shiny on the nails, but once it's on, you're good to go and start with the base coat. I'm gonna use the D&D base coat, and I will go in with a base coat before I go in with my builder gel. So again, you wanna work in really thin layers, and this gel base coat is the first step of actual gel. So you will cure this, but you wanna work in thin layers and not flood your cuticle. And by flood your cuticle, I mean put too much product in where it falls down the sides of your nails or into the bed of your nails. And I always double check by just making sure I can pull my cuticle away and I don't have any issues. So again, repeat. Since we're doing so many layers of gel, like different gels, it's so important that you work with thin layers so that they can properly cure and that you don't end up with a thick, giant, chunky nail on your hand. Okay, once we have everything done, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my lamp for 60 seconds. And then we're gonna go into Builder, which is probably the hardest to get the hang of. I would say this is not something that you necessarily need to start with, but it is really good in my opinion, but not necessary. So let's cure this and then we'll start Builder. Okay, that's cured. And again, I just make sure that nothing flooded into anything, because if it did, now is your time to take it off and start over. Next up is the Builder Gel. This is, like I said, probably the most tricky part. You definitely do not need to do this if you're new to gel. It's just going to give you a thicker base, more like feel like acrylics, if you will, rather than just a thin coat of polish. But you need to use the smallest amount, and I prefer to cure each nail one at a time, which takes a really long time. So I get just a small little dollop on the end of my brush. I don't do any swaying or a slip coat or anything like that. I basically just put a thin coat all over the nail. And then I make sure that nothing is built up too much towards the bed of the nail, but I just want a slight thickness to it. So we'll build just a little bit more towards the middle of the nail. You can see I just kind of take and dollop it right there and bring it down for a little bit of an apex. But then I set it upside down in the lamp for 60 seconds. So I do this for each one, because if I feel like I don't, then it gets all like crazy wonky and like ripply and stuff. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You could always file it down after Builder Gel, but I just choose not to do that. I like it personally better like this. So it does take, this takes the longest amount of time because you're curing each nail for 60 seconds instead of all the nails together, but 10 out of 10 worth it. If I'm in a major rush, I will do like 2-3 nails at a time, but typically I just do one nail at a time. All right, so there's a couple things I do when I'm looking at my builder is make sure that the tip right here, I can tend to get a lot of buildup right near this part, and that just looks terrible, feels terrible, and will lead to a lot more lifting than if it's just a thin, nice base coat. And then I also like to look at the edge of the nail and make sure that it's not bulky or wavy or anything like that. So I've done these nails so far. And I also like to kind of tip it up like this and a little bit in, so that way the nail, it doesn't pool up next to the cuticle. I haven't found a builder gel that is not like insanely thick and sticky. So you just have to work very quickly and also in like the lightest coat you can get, but not too light, because honestly, if you do, then it'll look streaky. So then I look at it from this angle. Again, I know I'm shaky, it's just how I'm built. I don't know how to explain it. I'm a shaky person. But I know it really Makes people a little scared. But anyway, next, and then just kind of tip it in like that. Okay, so my builder gel is complete and set. Now it's time to go in with color. I'm gonna use Fudgesicle from D&D. They make my favorite polishes. And I'm gonna work in small, thin layers. And I'm going to go ahead and do probably 2 to 3 coats of this. But I do each nail, or I do all my nails and then I set. So it's a lot easier. I start in the middle of my nail and then push up and then make sure I don't have too much. And you kind of want to leave a little bit. Now you'll see, hold on, let me show you before I set it. If you get gel on your skin, you need to remove it immediately with acetone. It's the only way that's going to fully remove the gel. Okay, so now there is, you'll see a small like line around kind of my cuticle and the sides of my nails. I leave that, okay? Now some people will go in with like a small brush. I don't feel like it's that noticeable, that big of a deal, but I want to avoid that cuticle flooding by any means, and so I just don't even mess with it. And I do my nails so often that I don't really feel like even a week's worth of grow out is that noticeable. And I get closer by the second or third coat, but this is how I start, so I ensure that I'm not flooding. Again, start towards the middle tip, push up. These brushes are really good on the D&D as well. All right, now that all my color's on, I'm gonna go ahead and set this for 60 seconds. Okay, so my first coat is done and set. Now let's move on to the second. Again, same thing, just thin little layers. And sometimes I'll push it a little bit closer to the cuticle on this round. Okay, so now my color is complete. I'm happy with the color. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the top coat. I prefer the no cleanse top coat, personally, it's my favorite. But this is going to ensure that it's shiny and just seals in your color, and it's just, that's my favorite thing about gel, I would say, is the immediate dry time, and then the fact that it stays shiny for the entire time you wear them, because no matter what top coat I used, I felt like with regular gel polish or regular nail polish, I felt like it was never as shiny as like the first 2 days. You want to be very careful with this. This is a very, very thin formula, and you can flood so easily. So you do not need a ton of this product at all. And I go ahead and kind of cap around the nail tip as well. Okay, now 60 seconds to set. Okay, and for my top coat, I do about 90 seconds just to really ensure it's my last coat that I'm putting on my nails, that it's fully cured. Because if you're not curing your nail and it sits there underneath it, it can be very bad. It can create, what do I want to call it? A gel allergy, which is not good. So make sure your nails are fully cured. And a way to tell if your nails are fully cured is by when you're filing your nails down. If you're not seeing powder, then your nails are not cured. But at that point, it's too late because that uncured nail polish already set on your nails. So it's important to test this beforehand. But anyway, you can do it right away. Anyway, okay, 90 seconds and we are fully cured. Looking pretty. I'm obsessed with this color, and we're dry. And a couple things I look for is making sure that I don't have gunk built up on the tip to the nail, and then not too much at the front, and then I just make sure that everything is rounded, because if it's not, I will hyperfixate on it for the whole time I have this set on. So now it is time to do the other side. So I carefully go ahead and do the other side, even though these nails are not wet. I don't want to buff them on accident, but I carefully go ahead and just do the other side. I have a little bit of lifting on this from my last set, so I want to make sure that I remove all of that lifted gel, so that way there's nothing hiding underneath there to give me fungus or anything crazy like that. So we're on our last set of top coat, and then we're done, you guys. Ta-da! Completed. Love this color so much. It's very much like Essie's Wicked, if you've ever used that. And then I finish with a little cuticle oil. Your cuticles can get kind of dry from doing your nails, so it's nice to just put a little bit of oil on them. And there you have it, you guys. That's how I do my at-home gel nail routine. I hope this helped. If you need any further questions or have any further questions or need any further explanation, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. But that's it. Bye, you guys. All right, so we're going to be doing a fill today. So essentially I already have nail polish on, and honestly I would keep this on, but I have a trip that's going to be 10 days, and I think by the end of it, it would be real grown out. So I'm gonna do a fresh set, but I'm gonna use this bit. I will have everything linked down below. I'm gonna use this bit to remove the color. Okay, so you saw my full routine plus how I remove the color from doing a fill, which is what I did today. But if I want to completely start fresh, like I just feel like I've done too many fills, or I just want to completely take everything off for a minute, I will use this product. There's a couple different ways you can remove gel. You can soak acetone. The polishes that I use are a gel soak off, so you can do that, but I prefer this. This is a gel remover. I can't say the name. Oliver? I don't know, but this is like paint thinner for your nails. So again, dangerous chemicals you do not want to be getting on your skin. So once you've removed all the color, just like I showed in a fill, then you would apply this on, let it sit, and really scrub it off and get off most of it. But if you're doing a gel manicure properly, you shouldn't have to use this very often, really at all, because you should just be kind of continuing on with what you're doing, and your nails should be growing and whatnot. But this is the product that I use if I'm needing to remove everything, because I am just not patient enough to let acetone sit on my nails for that long. So that is it. That is my at-home gel manicure routine. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I hope this was helpful, and yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon.